Hey, this is the Entertainment Advice Channel. What I want to talk about today is the topic of, is mainstream media dying? So for this video, I'm going to discuss the topic of, is mainstream media, which in my regard, what I mean by mainstream media is the idea of having something, some form of media to be more exact, whether it could be a TV show, movie, video game, or even music that is known from anywhere from hundreds of millions to billions of people all across the planet. Is that level of fame when it comes to something of any form of media, is that dying, as well as a lesson that people can learn from this particular topic is what I'll be discussing for this video today. Okay, so now I mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes to answer the question of, is mainstream media dying, simply put it, yes, it is dying. Okay, because the truth of the matter is, when it comes to mainstream media, the idea of having, use music as an example for this video, okay, specifically mainly music as an example, okay, the idea of having maybe like an artist who's known throughout the whole planet, okay, you know, literally anywhere from hundreds of millions to billions of people, more specifically, of course, to make things simple, billions of people all across the world know who he is, you know, is that era kind of dying? You know, like the idea of somebody being that level of famous and having songs that you could play literally in any corner of the planet and you'll have someone who actually recognizes it and actually goes like, okay, I actually heard that song before. I actually not just heard that song before, but I actually really liked it. Like that reaction too, you know? So it's not just background noise. It's something people all across the world have heard and they actually, well, guess what? Liked. To be quite blunt and honest with you, okay? So like an artist who's very famous, but it's not just famous, but very, very, very famous. Literally anywhere he goes in the world, people will recognize who he is and all that type of stuff. And that is what I'm trying to get at today. Whether it relates to music or it relates to TV shows, movies, video games, whatever, etc. The idea of having some form of media that literally everyone across the world can say that they watched it, you know, whether they know who actually created it or they at least are familiar with it, okay? Just like popular movie series like Avatar, you know, of course, the James Cameron movies, all across the world you go, people say they've seen it, or maybe other popular movie franchises, you go across the world, people all say that they've seen it, okay? So that's exactly what I'm trying to get across here, okay? So when it comes to answer that question, yes, it is dying, and of course, in part, a lot of it has to do with the internet, because now people can find things that are more specifically catered to them. But there's also another reason why that's happening, which is more the main point I'm trying to get at for this video, which the main reason why I feel it, mainstream media, global media, whatnot is dying is for something that tends to get overlooked a lot, but is definitely relevant, which is the topic of respect, okay? Because the truth of the matter is, I've realized about entertainment, okay, that is throughout the world, okay, especially with the internet, is that I notice more and more and more and more and more, which we can even see was happening a little bit with the whole Korean versus sibling, you know, in other words, Southeast Asia drama that happened, that I remember I did see it earlier this year, and I read about it. The truth of the matter is, more and more people nowadays are starting to kind of revert to how things were hundreds of years ago, where their way of thinking is that, why do I want to consume the media of somebody who doesn't like me, okay? And this is something that's actually been starting to gradually take off now a little bit, to be quite blunt and honest with you, okay? Because a lot of people, whether it's based on things like the demographic they're a part of, or it's even just down to something like the nationality, religion, race, and all that stuff that they're a part of, they're starting to realize more and more that a lot of times they follow things, but they realize that they're not welcome there. Just like, why do black people all pretty much unanimously listen to rap music, you know, which of course is, you know, is not even a stereotype, it's true. Literally every black person, the vast majority of black people will say they all like rap music, okay? And not just say that they like rap music, you know, it's pretty much most of what they listen to. One of the reasons why is because it's one of the few spaces we as black people can go and listen to something that we don't have to worry about being discriminated against, okay? Or for Latinos, obviously with reggaeton, it's kind of the same thing, and I guess maybe to a certain extent for Asians, with K-pop, it's kind of the same thing, you know? Like, why do I want to listen to something made by somebody who hates my fucking ass, okay? When I could listen to something that's made by people who actually like me, and not just like me, they're actually are me, pretty much, to sum it up, okay? And that's what I'm trying to get across here, okay? And I noticed this has kind of been going on the internet nowadays, which we can kind of see is kind of happening through, of course, what you refer to as cancel culture. More and more people are kind of just finding their own niche audiences because they're just going different places and realizing that they're not welcome there, you know? Just like you might be somebody who might see the world a certain way and maybe be a certain type of person. You listen to Taylor Swift, and people are like, yeah, we Taylor Swift fans don't like people like you, okay? To be honest with you, I know it doesn't have to do with race. It might just do with the fact that they might just think you're fucking stupid, you know, or in other words, they just don't like you maybe because you're a so-called geeky, nerdy person. I don't know what the fuck it is. But the point of the matter I'm trying to get at here is that sometimes you go places, you consume media of other forms of people, whether it's TV shows, movies, video games, or even music, and they just don't like you. They don't like you at all. They treat you like shit, actually, to be quite blunt and honest with you, okay? And when it comes to specifically music, of course, which is what I'm getting at for this video, as I said, was the main thing I'm getting for this video, I noticed that also is very, very, very apparent the most in the music industry. Like, sometimes you just follow a certain group of people and they just don't like you, and they talk down on you, and they disrespect you whenever they get the opportunity to. So when I see that shit, why the flippin' fuck do I want to support them? And that's what I'm trying to get at here. So that is one of the reasons why I feel like globalized media is dying, okay? Because people are just realizing I'm actually a lot happier and better off when I consume something made by someone who's kind of like me more than by someone who just doesn't fucking like me. In all honesty, to be quite blunt and honest with you, okay? So to put it bluntly, that is why I believe globalized media is dying, okay? One of the major reasons why it's dying. Because people are just realizing not only, you know, are they being disrespected by people who obviously are of another group? You know, just like if I'm a black person or a Hispanic, you know, why the fuck do I want to listen to a rock song, you know, or follow a genre mainly, more like rock, where they're just going to disrespect me and say, oh, you are the whitest acting black person or the whitest acting Latino imaginable, not to mention a huge amount of rock stars who've said racist shit. So to answer your question, that's exactly what I'm trying to get across here. Why don't we just do our own fucking thing? Well, you're a black Latino. That's what I'm trying to get across here. Okay? And that's my point I'm trying to fucking explain. Why do I want to deal with someone who consumes something from someone who doesn't fucking like me? Let alone, for that matter, you also might also realize that you just happen to get along and enjoy things a lot more when it's made by someone who, of course, well, no surprise, is similar to you. Instead of trying to be hang around people who are just like, I just don't understand these people whatsoever. And as a result, it's going to create less arguments, less chaos, less confusion, and less straight up drama, for that matter, when you're around people who think more like you than someone who's just like, we think like two completely different people, okay? And of course, that way of thinking is stupid, and it's actually not as true, because it also comes down to the fact that sometimes people, you know, just start shit, and people who tend to say that stuff tend to be the ones who actually start shit the most, because just because you're two different people doesn't mean you can't like interact with each other. It's just more that some people just kind of start shit all the time. But even though yes, that is true, the fact that you guys see the world so differently and such completely different people can also help contribute to how terrible the arguments are, and how when you have an argument or something about anything, you know, one group of people on the internet versus another group, you can't agree on anything or find any middle ground. And that's what I'm trying to get across here, okay? So that's the truth of the matter, why global media is dying and why everything's becoming more niche-based, and you live in an age where you could talk to a bunch of people and you think this person was known by so many people, and they're like, I've never heard of that person before. And like, who is he? You know, and stuff. And that's one of the reasons why it's happening. Yes, I know there's other reasons why, like I said before earlier on in the video. It could deal with the fact that the internet is you know, it's so big that it's hard for anyone to truly get all the attention. And of course, the fact that we have the algorithm. Yes, I know what people are trying to get across here. But even aside from that stuff, a lot of it just simply comes down to the fucking fact that people just don't want to listen to something made by people who just don't like them, whether it could be the fan base themselves or even the artists themselves has made it clear, I don't like people who are like you in one way or another, you know? So that is the truth of why media is becoming mainstream media as we know it is dying. Okay, so now that I've mentioned that, now it's time to get to the moral of the story. Okay, so the moral of the story is this is why you respect people, because let's keep it real, the world is way more interesting when you have an artist who is as well known by as many people as possible. Okay, whether it relates to music or any other form of creative media, that's still technically an artist no matter how you look at it. To be honest with you, when people are more together, at least for some things, it makes the experience more enjoyable and more interesting. Okay, but we can't do that if we live in a world where every time I try to be a part of something, but because I'm of a different demographic, you disrespect me. So in the end of the day, that is the reason why mainstream media as we know it is dying, because people are just going places and consuming other forms of media and people are disrespecting them. So in short, the lesson is this is why you respect people and you'll be more successful as a result. And that's all to say, and I'm out. Bye.